A very warm welcome to all of you from the entire team at Gradeup. A very warm welcome to all of you from the entire team at Gradeup, friends. I, on behalf of the entire team at Gradeup, do welcome each and every one of you for in this very important session. I, on behalf of the entire team at Gradeup, do welcome each and every one of you to this very important session that we are going to start. Now, friends, before we start, let me tell you that Gradeup brings to you Gradeup Super. Gradeup brings to you Gradeup Super. Now, what is this Gradeup Super that we see? Now, please try to understand that Gradeup Super is it's a one subscription service. It is a subscription service that offers course classes offers on a subscription basis. So if you subscribe to Gradeup Super, if you are subscribing to Gradeup Super, what you get is you get a subscription either for 3 months or for 6 months or for a year. Today is the 18th of the month. Today is the last day. Today happens to be the last day. Today happens to be the last day for getting a surprise. And the surprise is, and the surprise is, and the surprise is that and the surprise is that you will be getting 2x validity. You will be getting 2x validity insofar as this subscription service is concerned. So do your thing as soon as possible. Get yourself the subscription so that you do not miss on the classes. These classes that we are providing to you in YouTube are very small little classes. These are some of the demo classes. But in reality, when we start with our course in our subscription model where we will produce where we are going to provide you with various other classes, in those classes we are going to have a substantive discussion on all law related subjects, all topics, both for all the subjects. Okay, so without delay, without much ado, let's start with today's class. So without much ado, let's start with today's class. In today's class, friends, what we are going to do is to study what is alternative dispute resolution. Now, what do we mean by alternative dispute resolution? Now, in a society, wherever we stay, there are disputes. Wherever we stay, in whichever society we belong to, there are always disputes. Now, what are the formal ways of solving those disputes? Going to the court, arguing a matter, then waiting for the judge to deliver a judgment. And invariably, this takes a lot of time. This invariably takes a lot of time, lot of money. So, now, today you guys are aware of the fact that there is a huge amount of pendency in the various courts in India. There are hundreds of cases, thousands of cases, lakhs of cases and crores of cases in various courts across the country. There is a huge pendency before the courts. And that's why we require an alternative dispute resolution system. Now, the judiciary is, of course, the most important dispute resolution mechanism. There is no doubt. There is no doubt that the judiciary is not the best dispute resolution authority. But the fact remains, due to high pendency of cases. Now, suppose today you have a dispute with me. Now, if you go to the court, the court will take 15 years. You spend 15 years before the High Court, another 20 years before the Supreme Court. So, After 40 years, if you get a judgment from the Supreme Court, either in your favor or my favor, does it matter? So we require speedy justice. All that we require is speedy justice. And in view of this, in view of the fact that we require speedy justice, there is a system, there is an alternative mechanism to provide justice. And that is what we understand as the alternative dispute resolution. Now, as you are aware of, there are hundreds of TV debates across the country on the pendency of the cases in India. Indian courts are clogged with cases. There are too many pending cases before the courts. And in view of the fact that there are too many pending cases before the court, we require as a society an alternative form to this dispute resolution system. Am I clear? Now, this alternative dispute resolution system, it is a helpful mechanism to resolve various conflicts in a very peaceful manner, and the outcome is accepted by both the parties. Now, when a judge gives an order, suppose there is a dispute between you and me. There is a dispute between you and me. Now, we go to the district court. The district court takes 7 years to decide the case. Either you win or I win. If I win, you will go to the High Court. If I win, you will go to the High Court. If you win, I will go to the High Court on an appeal. In the appeal, before the High Court, another 10 years, 15 years. Either if you win, I will go to the Supreme Court. If I win, you will go to the Supreme Court. Another 10 more years or 15 more years in the Supreme Court. Now, do you want a speedy justice or justice in a delayed manner? Now, always remember that speedy justice is a basic fundamental right. The Supreme Court of India in Husainara Khatun versus State of Bihar. The Supreme Court of India in Husainara Khatun versus State of Bihar, Justice Bhagwati there very categorically stated that speedy justice is a basic feature of our fundamental rights guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution. Am I clear? So Article 21, which talks about right to life also includes right to speedy justice. Now, today, if you do not get justice speedily, it violates your fundamental right under Article 21. And henceforth, since we cannot afford to let the court decide all cases. I would have been very happy if the courts could have decided all cases. But the courts are today so clogged with pending cases, and every day thousands and lakhs of cases are being filed in the courts. In view of that, it is not possible for the judiciary, for the judges, to solve this menace. Now, what is this alternative dispute resolution? Now, this alternative dispute resolution offers to solve all types of civil, commercial, industrial, and family-related matters. Criminal matters are left out of it because criminal matters you need punishment, okay? Criminal matters are deliberately left out of the provision of ADR, but other matters like civil matters, commercial matters, some industrial matters, some family-related matters are left to be solved by this system. Now, this ADR system, this alternative dispute resolution system, is a neutral third-party system. A neutral third party decides on the differences and discusses with both the parties and resolves the dispute. So, this alternative dispute resolution system is something like a person who is like an umpire. He sits with both the parties, tries to communicate to both the parties, discusses with both the parties their differences, and try to resolve their dispute. Am I clear? Now, this ADR system provides for a mode of settlement by various ways: arbitration, conciliation, mediation, negotiation, and Lok Adalat. So these are the ways: arbitration, conciliation, mediation, negotiation, and Lok Adalat are the various modes for settling these dispute outside the court. So ADR system, what I can simply in one line say, is an alternative dispute resolution system that a person can undertake outside the court. So this is an out of court settlement. This is a out of court settlement. Am I clear to all of you? What is ADR system? Now, in your CLAT, in your AILET, and in any other examination, you might be asked a question on alternative dispute resolution, right? So you should have some basic understanding of this alternative dispute resolution system. Am I clear? Now, moving ahead. Now, what are the advantages of this alternative dispute resolution? The advantages of this alternative dispute resolution are: number one, it is less time consuming. It is less time consuming. Number two, it is a very cost effective method. It is a cost effective method. It is free from technicalities of the court. There are no technicalities in this alternative dispute resolution system. You don't have to pay court fees. You don't have to go at so and so at this time, at that time. No. So this alternative dispute resolution system, so please try to understand that in an alternative dispute resolution system, the mechanism of the court is left out. That is, those technicalities of the court, has been left out. Am I clear? Am I clear to all of you? Now, this ADR system happens to be a very efficient way. Now, what do we mean by an efficient way? It simply means that this is a very effective way. Now, if both the parties agree, then there is no further appeal. And the ADR system is created. The ADR system is created with the purpose that there is no further appeal, so that the finality of a judgment between the two parties which has come remains final. And it prevents further conflict and maintains a good relationship between the parties. Suppose there is a dispute between two parties, and if it is resolved through negotiation or conciliation, then the relationship between the parties remains perfect. Okay? Am I clear? So these are some of the classes, friends. Yes, Shobit Chaturvedi, Arpit Galot, it is 2002 or 2021. This is for 2021. These classes are meant for 2021. Okay. These classes are meant for 2021 CLAT aspirants. Am I clear? Moving ahead. Now, what is arbitration? Arbitration exist with a valid arbitration agreement. Suppose there are two parties who wants to enter into a contract. Now, in that contract, if there is a provision for an arbitration clause. So, what is an arbitration clause? An arbitration clause is a clause which talks about that in case there is a dispute between the parties, then the parties will resolve those disputes by way of an arbitration. Am I clear? Am I clear? Okay. This is not a recording class. There is some problem with the camera. Friends, I'm really sorry. There is some problem with the camera, and that is the reason the camera has been switched off. Okay. This is not a recording class. This is a live class. Okay. Okay. This is a live class. Okay. Okay. Let's move ahead. So arbitration. Now, what is arbitration? Arbitration is a method in which if there are any dispute between the two parties, in case there are dispute between the two parties, then both the parties will resolve their dispute by submitting their dispute before an arbitrator. Now, an arbitrator is like an umpire. He will look into both the sides of the parties and thereafter give an award. Am I clear? So, an arbitrator is bound on the parties. The decision of the arbitrator is bound on the parties, and the decision is called an award. Now, no arbitration can take place without a valid arbitration agreement. Now, what is an arbitration agreement? Arbitration agreement is an agreement where in a contract, both the parties agree that if there is any dispute, we are going to settle the dispute not by a method of court, but by resolving our dispute through an arbitration. Am I clear? Okay. Okay. Now, arbitration is to obtain a fair settlement of dispute outside the court. Very, very important. Outside the court. Am I clear to all of you? So, arbitration is to obtain a fair settlement of dispute outside the court without necessary delay and expense. Now, in a court, if you go, then there is a lot of expense, there is a lot of delay. Now, to provide a speedy justice, or a time-bound justice, this is a very, very effective way how we can resolve the disputes. Now, moving ahead to mediation. Now, what is mediation? A mediation is a third-party neutral way of dispute resolution. So, a third party assist both the parties to the dispute. A third party assist both the parties to a dispute to reach to an agreement. The mediator's work is to facilitate the party to come to a settlement. Now, the work of the mediator, the mediator's work is to facilitate the parties to reach to a settlement of their dispute. Now, the mediator in a mediation does not impose his views. He gives an idea that you guys can solve the dispute in a better way. So always think that it is not, see, in a society, wherever we live in a society, there will be dispute. We cannot deny that there cannot be a dispute in a society. Whichever society we survive, there will be dispute. Am I clear? But the fact is this, that we can resolve this dispute in a much better manner rather than by going to courts which are clogged with cases. It is better now to develop other ways of dispute resolution. Am I clear? Okay. Thereafter comes conciliation. Now, what is conciliation? Conciliation is an amicable resolution between the parties. Now, what happens in a conciliation? Parties to the dispute use a person called a conciliator who meets the parties separately to resolve the dispute. Now, in mediation, the mediator sits with both the parties. But in conciliation, the conciliation officer separately sits with both the parties. Am I clear? Very, very important. In a conciliation process, the conciliator, the man who is going to resolve the dispute, sits with the parties separately and talks to each of the parties separately and lowers the tension between the parties, and thereby getting into a good communication with the parties, and thereby by negotiation solving their dispute. Am I clear? Did you understand the crux? So conciliation is a process of facilitating an amicable solution. It's a process of facilitating an amicable resolution between the parties, whereby the parties to a dispute use the conciliator who meets the parties separately, very, very important, to settle their disputes. This is very, very, very important. Okay, very, very, very important. Okay. Now, the conciliator sits with the parties separately, whereas a mediator sits with the parties together. That's the difference between the two. Very, very important. Okay. Very, very important. Now, the next important way of dispute resolution is known as Lok Adalat. Now, what is Lok Adalat? Lok Adalat is commonly known as People's Court. It is presided either by a retired judge of a high court or the Supreme Court. Very recently, Justice Ramana, who will be the next Chief Justice of India, he presided over the Delhi Lok Adalat very recently, about 2 weeks back. So, judges of the court, former judges of the court, a social activist or a member of a legal profession, for example, a lawyer, can also act as a chairman of a Lok Adalat. This is very, very important. So a Lok Adalat is either presided by a sitting judge or a retired judge, a social activist or a lawyer or an advocate. Okay. Now what happens over here? Now cases which are pending before the court can come to the Lok Adalat where parties want to settle their disputes amicably. Now, suppose a case is pending with the court. Suppose a case for 20 years is pending with the court. Now, both the parties are 90 years of age. Okay, they spent 10 years in the district court, 20 years in the high court, and 20 years in the Supreme Court. So, they have spent 50 years litigating amongst themselves. They are 90 years now. They don't want the court to decide because they have seen too much of the court. They want their pending cases to be resolved by a Lok Adalat. Am I clear? Am I clear? So a Lok Adalat is a place where pending cases are being brought and the Lok Adalat decides in a very faster process. Okay. Now, in this process, what happens is that the Lok Adalat settles the dispute as agreed by both the sides of both the parties. And the advantage is the court fees originally paid to the court is refunded back to the parties. That means you don't have to pay any court fees. Very important. Now, people pay lakhs of rupees as court fees to the court for the court to decide their dispute. Now, if a dispute is settled in a Lok Adalat, the original court fee that you have paid to the court is refunded back to the parties. Am I clear? Very, very important. Did you understand? Did you understand, friends? Am I clear? Am I clear to all of you? Okay. Did you understand? Any doubts? Any doubts? So, what did we discuss today? All that we did discuss today is a simple fact that our courts are today clogged with cases. Our courts are today clogged with cases. We require a system where there is a speedy justice, where justice really reaches in time. Now, if you go to the district court, you go to the high court, you go to the Supreme Court, you spend half your life in litigation. Do you want to spend half of your life going to the court and resolving dispute? No one wants. A normal man does not want. So, there is a faster method. There is a faster method. There is a faster method of this resolution of this dispute. Am I clear? Am I clear to all of you? Am I clear to all of you? Any doubts? Friends, in your CLAT 2021 exam, you might get a passage on Lok Adalat, on arbitration, on conciliation, or on the entire ADR process. What is alternative dispute resolution? You might get a huge passage on it. So please try to understand that these are some of the things which is going to help you in understanding passages. Now, what did we learn today? That other than court also there are certain places where disputes can be resolved. Other than court also there are places where disputes can be resolved. That is all that we learned today. Is it not correct? Am I clear? Am I clear to all of you? Okay. So please try to understand the difference between what is arbitration, what is an arbitration agreement, and what is mediation, what is conciliation, and what is Lok Adalat. Am I clear to all of you? Am I clear to all of you? Any doubts? If you guys have any doubts, you can ask me now. If you guys have any doubts, you can ask me now. Yeah. If you guys have any doubts, you can ask me now, friends. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes, passages are a little time consuming. Nivedita saying, yes, passages are a little time consuming, but you have to get into the habit of reading a lot of things. Okay. Once you get into the habit of reading, I don't think there will be any problem. Okay. 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 Uh, if you have good critical reasoning skills, good analytical reasoning skills, good speed over reading your English language, then I don't think that your legal reasoning will be very difficult if you attend our classes regularly. Okay. 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 Now, another very important announcement at the end of today's class is that Gradeup brings to you Gradeup Super. Gradeup brings to you Gradeup Super. It's a very important thing. Please get your subscription today so that you get 2x validity. 2x validity on your subscription. So here is the important surprise for all of you.